Peace and blessings, YouTube. Good morning. Today is October 25th. A brand new day. A beautiful day because we're alive. I haven't got any phone calls, any bad phone calls through the night. That's a blessing. Family members are still all right. Friends are still all right. That's a blessing. And I kind of like it's like having a gift. Every brand new day is like having a brand new gift every single day. It's the gift. It's one of the gifts that God, by the Creator, by any name that you call him, that he gives us. It's a brand new day. It's a beautiful day. And I also like to take a little time to think about those who did not make it through the night. Those who did not cross over into the new day for whatever reason. The Creator seemed, I guess he saw it fit. But I like to say peace and blessings. May God have mercy on their souls. And may we see this brand new day as a brand new gift. And we use it to fix up the wrongs of yesteryear. Every brand new day, I feel like it's a day that God has given us to say, well, okay, here's a brand new day to fix up whatever you did wrong yesterday. He's given us, I feel like he's given us another chance to say sorry, another chance to take responsibility, another chance to fix ourselves according to the divine laws, according to the laws that he has written for us, and not the way we want to do it, not the way we decide to do it. See, I think that's the problem, because we like, if you're in a relationship, we're coming from two different families. We coming through two different seeds, ways of doing things, ways of thinking, ways of acting. And so when we get together, you got two different entities coming together, two different thoughts, two different ways of acting, of handling problems. So I don't like to handle things my way. I try to handle things the way the Creator wrote, have the laws that he left us to fix problems. Most of the times our problems continue going on because we're trying to use our parents' way. The other person is trying to use their family's way. And none of those ways are working for the families. So we impose them on each other. I try to sit down and I try to open up a book and say, okay, I open up the Bible, I open up the Holy Quran. I open up a book that some intelligent person that's striving, that's trying to live by the laws of the Creator. And I try to go, with them. I try to go not with my family, not what my mother taught me, not what my uncle taught me, not what my father taught me. I try to go by something different, because most of the times that we're trying to settle problems, we're really settling them with our family's ways. And so we turn to the person we with and say, okay, I think we should do this. That person turns to us and say, well, I think we should do it my family way. And guess what? It never works. We have to pick up some books. We have to, search something, do some research and find better ways, and try not to use your own ways, because our ways are not working. They don't work for us. And so the problem is only solved maybe for a day or two, a week or two. Then all of a sudden the problems are right back. So again, today is a brand new day. Everybody that didn't make it into the brand new day, may Allah have mercy on their soul. And I pray that the rest of us that are here, we can, we ready to find a new way. We ready to find a new way to do things, and not do things the way we used to. Because the definition of insanity means a person who keeps trying the same thing and expecting different results. That's insanity. When you say, okay, you telling the person that you with, you saying, well, okay, we come into a new agreement. We talked about it. We're going to start all over again. And then one of us does the same thing to create the problem, yet we're expecting different results. That is the definition of insanity. I have been a victim of it. I have been guilty of it. Doing the same thing over and over and over and expecting different results. It's insanity. So today I have a few quotes that I just want to read off of. And it's still dealing with relationships. It's still dealing with, because as I keep going with this subject, I see that relationships, we got parent relationships, we got work relationships, there's relationships on the bus, there's relationships on the train as you travel, there's relationships at work, everywhere. There's relationships even when you out shopping. There's a relationship between the person, the cashier that you're giving the money to, and and yourself. There's a relationship. We are relating to one another. Inside the word relationship is relate. How we're relating to each other, that's the problem. That's where our problem falls at. Okay, this is out of the Bible. As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. And I also flipped it to where as a woman thinketh in his heart, so is she. This means that what we believe, what we think, this is why we have to search our thoughts. Because what we think about ourselves is how other people is going to treat us. I'm going to say that again. What we think about ourselves is how other people is going to treat us. So if we have a high value of ourselves, people will treat us with that value. And anyone who steps into our energy field and tries to treat us differently, we're going to reject. If we have a low value, a low thought system going through our minds, then we will allow people to treat us according to how we think. You ever wonder why some things are acceptable to you and some things are not? It is because that is what you think. That is what we think of ourselves. People are offering all day long. You got to look at what you're accepting and what you're rejecting. That will allow you to see how you think about yourself. Again, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. As a woman thinketh in her heart, so is she. Your thoughts equal reality. Thoughts equal reality. Everything that's going on outside of you is coming from your own thoughts. You wouldn't believe it. You wouldn't believe it. Everything that's happening in your outside world is coming from the inside. So in the Holy Quran, it says, from the heart flows the issues of life. Again, if you look at the Bible, as a man thinketh in his heart, and now in the Holy Quran says, from the heart flows the issues of life. So it's like, you mean to tell me that what I'm going through, you mean to tell me that everything that I'm going through in life is coming from my own heart? Now we know the heart does not think. The brain thinks. But the brain and the heart is almost the same. They both harboring secrets. Our hearts and our mind is harboring secrets that flow from the outside through our energy. Our thoughts create an energy. It creates an energy field around us. All of us have an energy field around us. And when you get into someone's energy field, you actually can feel what they're feeling. And then they will treat you according to what they're feeling while they are in your energy field. You see? So most of the times, if you really if you really want to know how you think, observe the people that come into your energy field. It's like you're the director and they're only acting off of you. You're the script writer, you're writing it, and they're acting off of it. Now, if you're acceptable to it, then you really have to know that that is how you think. That is the value of what you believe about yourself. This is why we have to study the family tree. I always go back to that. We have to study the DNA. We have to see what kind of parents we had. You could go back as far as you can. If your grandparents are still there, sit down with them. If your great grandparents are still there, sit down with them. Have a real nice conversation. Grandma, how was it when you was young? How did you grow up? How was your parents? What happened? What are some of the things that happened in your life? Because you really searching your own heart. You searching your own thoughts and why you think the way that you think. Okay, let's go on to this next quote. This is from How Thoughts Become Things. It's a good book, How Thoughts Become Things by Dr. Neb Haru. Dr. Neb Haru says the truth is the brain does not know the difference between what it sees in its immediate environment and what it remembers, because the same specific neural nets are being fired. We all have neurons inside our brains. I'm sure that's something I think we should look up. We got these phones where we can look up anything, so I think we need to look up neurons and see what they are and how they affect us. They actually give us our thoughts. But he says the truth is the brain does not know the difference between what it sees in its immediate environment and what it remembers. So let's look at our relationship when we leave in the house. We in a relationship. We say goodbye, have a nice day, give them a kiss. Hopefully you woke up that way. Hopefully you woke up and said good morning. Hopefully you woke up in good spirits with them and you gave hugs and you gave kisses and thank you. I'll see you later. That's now in our memory. Now we go out into the world. The brain does not know the difference between what it remembers and what's happening in its immediate environment. I believe these are how people treat each other. Like there's a lot of people treating each other like they're in relationships while they're at work. There's a lot of people treating each other like they're in relationships, like they still at home. Because why? Because the brain does not remember. The brain does not know the difference between what it remembers and what it sees in its immediate environment. You see, the brain is just a brain. It just thinks. Sometimes we get caught up in our memory, but we are not. We are now in a different place. And so now he's treating someone at work like it's his woman. And she's treating someone at work like it's her man. They're going off of memory. And their immediate environment is getting mixed up. I pray that you can understand that. And I pray that you study it a little more. But let me read it again before I go on. The truth is the brain does not know the difference between what it sees in its immediate environment and what it remembers. Okay, let's move on. For all comes to us from the world outside, from what we have already visualized in the world within our minds. I hope you can understand that. For all comes to us from the world outside of us, from what we've already visualized in the world within. Simply saying that what's happening outside of us is what we already visualized. Everything that's going on, you know what's going on at work. You know what's going on while you travel. You know what's going on at home. You know what's going on in your relationship. It's already been visualized in your mind. How? because we're looking at television, we're looking at the internet, social media, the music that we listen to, newspapers, magazines. All of this is going into our mind. Believe it or not, it's programming you. It's programming you. Television is programming you. The internet is programming you. Social media, Instagram, everything is programming you. All of these pictures that we watch where it's nothing but chaos. So now our lives are being fashioned after that. We want this chaos. We don't even know it. We don't even know that we're being programmed. So before something happens to you on the outside, it's already going on the inside. Any external inharmony is coming from internal inharmony. Because if you want peace, then you will have a regard for divine law. But in order to have peace, you have to study yourself. If there's chaos around you, guess what? We are causing it. But we love to point the finger. We love pointing the finger at somebody else. It's you, it's you, it's you. Here it is. Some of us have been in 3, 4, 5 relationships, and they all went wrong. And we love to say it was something. She'll say, oh, something wrong with all of those guys. Or he'll say something is wrong with all those girls. How? When you know that you can sit back and you can think and say, well, I remember so-and-so said this, and now she said this, and she said it, and she said it in all these relationships. At some point in time, you have to stop and think. Wow, if everybody's saying the same thing about me, shouldn't I? And you have to remember, we have characteristics, we have reputations. There's some reason that everything is beautiful in the beginning, and then all of a sudden it goes south, whether it take 2 weeks, 2 months, 2 years, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years. We're breaking up because something is going wrong, but we're not breaking upwards. Remember, like the elements, they break upwards and they become new elements, that we may become new people, right? And give to our person that we with. Could you imagine coming home new every day? Could you imagine waking up new every day? Just new. And being happy all over again that you woke up next to the person that you with. Thanking God that you woke up. Hugging the person that you with. Having a nice conversation before you go out to work. Not arguing. Arguing is death. You are killing the relationship by arguing every morning, every day. Then you go to work and you arguing. Or you may do it the other way. You arguing in the house, and then you go home and now we out saying good morning to everybody that we see outside, and not even saying good morning to the occupants in our own house. Not even saying good morning to the person that we waking up next to. But then go outside to everybody else. Good morning, good morning, good morning. That's not right. That is death. Everything that's happening on the outside of us, you're thinking about it. You wake up in the morning, you're thinking, you immediately start thinking. Immediately. So now, depending on your thoughts, is how it's going to be in the morning time. Oh God, let me see how we don't even know how it's going to be the next morning. We don't know what it's going to be like. That's sad. We loving each other, but we're not controlling ourselves. We're not looking at our thoughts. We're not breaking upward. We destroying the relationship, but we're not studying ourselves so we can get rid of things that's messing us up and also messing us up with the person that we are with. Some of us wake up mean in the house and go outside nice to everybody else. It's destruction. let's go on. It says, we cannot conceive of matter being formed of nothing. Matter cannot be formed of nothing, meaning that something can't come from nothing. If something is going on, that means something is happening. It can't come from nothing. Since things require a seed to start from. Remember, thoughts are seed. Your mind is like a field, a crop field. Your thoughts are being planted into your mind and becoming a crop. And when that seed grows, when you think about it more and more and more and more and more, that seed will then manifest itself. So you really don't have to ask nobody what you're thinking. All you have to do is watch them. I believe Sister Maya Angelou said, when a person shows you who they are, believe them. Believe them. They're showing you who they are. You don't really have to ask what you're doing. You can go to them in a nice way. Remember what we said, criticizing in a nice way, not criticizing in an evil way. Scrutinizing, looking at things with care. Baby, you just did this. Baby, is everything all right? Because, I see that this and that is going on. There's a way we could talk about things. We don't have to come right out, because we got to understand that we all are coming from different families. Different families have different bad seeds in them, bad thoughts, bad things have happened. So we got to understand that. But the first thing we got to do is study ourselves, because you can't go to nobody trying to help them and you have not helped yourself first. So it says, therefore there is not anything which returns to nothing, but all things return, dissolve into their own elements. I believe our own elements mean our own families. Whatever our own families have taught us, everything, we all return back to our family's elements, our family's ideas. So I'm gonna read the whole thing again. It says, we cannot conceive of matter being formed of nothing, since things require a seed to start from. Therefore there is not anything which returns to nothing, but all things return, dissolve into their own elements. Again, our own elements, our own families. Shakespeare, that was actually written by Shakespeare. Our own elements, our own families. We got our thoughts, we got everything that we are from our families. So depending on what information we learn from our families, that is what we're always going to return to. We're always going to return to, especially if we're not reading and studying. If we're not a person that who buy books and read and trying to learn a different way to think, then we're always going to rely on our family's information, which are, again, our own elements. Okay, so I want to read one last thing from this book right here, Dr. Abel Muhammad, page 13. It's a very good book. Page 13. It reads this: knowledge of self is not an easy thing to obtain, because it includes an awareness of the dark side of the mind as well as the light. Let's stop. The dark side as well as the light. We got a dark side, huh? Oh yeah. Probing for the reasons underlying our own actions, not somebody else's. Probing for the reasons underlining our own actions is something most of us avoid. Am I right? Most of us avoid that. It is so easy to blame someone or something else for our troubles. I've done that. I've been a victim of that. I have blamed somebody else. Conversely, because God has given us some of his essence, we mistakenly think we are perfect. Therefore, we are disinclined to be critical of our own behavior. Disinclined to be critical of our own behavior. We criticize other people's behavior, but we don't criticize our own. Never imagining we could possibly be at fault at any time. So most of the time we blame other people. Good morning, good morning. Most of the time we blame other people for what's wrong with us because we don't want to look into our own dark side. It's something that is very difficult to do because we don't want to look back into what happened to us. We don't want to look back into the experiences that made us who we are today. Some very, very, very bad things has happened to us as children. And one day I'm going to get into that because it must be brought out. It must be brought to the light because these things are controlling us. These things are what's causing our dark side. And we're handling our relationships that way. And we're destroying our relationships because of the things that happen to us as children. Or again, social media, the records, television, programming our minds. So we have to study. We have to probe the reasons. We have to probe our minds to find out why we act the way that we act. Not the other person. The other person has to do that for themselves. You can't do that. It's never going to work. It's only going to hurt them. But you can. Nothing can stop you from probing your own mind. Nothing can stop you from doing that. So yes, we've been avoiding it. Sister Dr. Ava said we've been avoiding it. But now we have to take a deep breath. And we have to start looking at us, looking at self, pointing the finger at self instead of blaming. Okay, I think I'm gonna stop there. I pray that you can use this information, and I pray that you show this information to the person that you're with, that y'all watch this together and study it. Peace and blessings. Have a great day. It's a brand new day. You can start all over again. Nobody can hold you to your past, especially if you change. Peace and blessings. Have a great day.